Dolly Parton, the country music icon, just made her first public appearance since her husband, Carl Dean, passed away March 3rd.
Just wanted to take a minute to thank all of you for all the flowers and the cards.
For decades, Dolly Parton and Carl Dean shared an undying love that thrived away from the spotlight. But now, after Carl's heartbreaking death, Dolly has finally chosen to break her silence. She unexpectedly revealed a deeper side of her marriage, leaving the world shocked. Join as we uncover the truth behind a love story that stood the test of time, a love destined to be. Carl Thomas Dean was born on July 20th, 1942, in Nashville, Tennessee to Virginia. Bates Dean, often called Jenny, and Edgar Henry Dean. Growing up in Nashville, he later became an asphalt businessman, a career he pursued when he first met Dolly Parton. His life changed the day he crossed paths with the young singer, setting the stage for a relationship that would last for decades. Interestingly, Dolly's focus was entirely on building a career, and love was the last thing on her mind. Dolly arrived in Nashville in 1964, fresh out of high school and eager to chase her dreams in country music. However, fate had other plans as she walked into a local laundromat with a basket of dirty clothes. Carl, driving through the area in his white Chevy truck, happened to see her. Something about her caught his eye, and he stopped to talk to her. From the moment he laid eyes on her, he was certain she was the one. Without hesitation, he made up his mind that she would one day be his wife. Though Dolly had just left 2 boyfriends behind in her hometown, she felt an immediate connection with Carl. She invited him to visit her at her aunt and uncle's house, where she was staying at the time. He eagerly accepted, showing up every single day for the next week. Their bond strengthened quickly, and before long, they were officially dating. Around the same time, Dolly landed a record deal with Monument Records, marking the start of her professional career. Their first official date took place when Carl took her to meet his parents, a significant moment in their growing relationship. Not long after their relationship began, Carl had to leave for military service, yet the separation didn't weaken their connection. They stayed in touch, their feelings only growing stronger during the time apart. When he returned after 2 years in the Army, he proposed. His mother, overjoyed by the engagement, started planning a grand wedding. However, Dolly's record label had other ideas. Her career was just beginning to take off, and her team believed that marriage could hinder her success. The singer, deeply in love with Carl, refused to let anything stand in her way. Determined to be together, the couple decided to keep their wedding a private affair. To avoid attention, they traveled to Ringo, Georgia, for a small, intimate ceremony on May 30th, 1966. Only Dolly's mother, the preacher, and his wife. The simplicity of the event didn't diminish its significance. They were finally husband and wife. The day after their wedding, Dolly had to wake up early for a scheduled radio appearance. A honeymoon had to wait, as she had professional commitments to fulfill. Carl, understanding her dedication to her career, never questioned her choices. He supported her ambitions completely, never asking her to step away from music. While she had managers and industry professionals handling her affairs, he concentrated on running his asphalt paving company. He preferred to stay behind the scenes rather than stepping into the spotlight alongside his famous wife. Surprisingly, Carl wasn't particularly drawn to Dolly's music. His personal taste leaned toward hard rock and bluegrass, enjoying bands like Led Zeppelin. Though he didn't dislike her songs, he didn't go out of his way to listen to them. Despite this, he unknowingly inspired some of her most well-known tracks. One of her biggest hits, Jolene, was partly based on a real-life encounter, a bank teller who frequently flirted with Carl. Another song, Just Because I'm a Woman, stemmed from a conversation they had early in their marriage. Upon learning that Dolly had been with other men before meeting him, Carl initially struggled with the revelation. In response, she penned the song, using music to express her thoughts. Over the years, he also became the inspiration for love songs such as From Here to the Moon and Back. Forever love. Say forever you'll be mine, and tomorrow is forever. His presence even extended to an album cover, appearing on the front of My Blue Ridge Mountain Boy. Despite this brief public appearance, Carl consistently distanced himself from the celebrity lifestyle. The first and only major event he attended was an awards ceremony in 1966. After experiencing the overwhelming nature of public events, he made it clear to Dolly that he wouldn't be attending any more in the future. His words were an honest expression of his feelings. Avoiding the spotlight allowed him to move freely without unwanted attention. Dolly respected his wishes, understanding his desire to maintain a private life. Though their marriage wasn't without challenges, half a century together, Carl made a conscious effort to keep his personal life out of the public eye. Even when Dolly made her Hollywood debut in the 1980 comedy 9 to 5, he chose to avoid the film's premiere in Nashville. He did watch it eventually, but on his own, away from the spotlight. Years later, when Dollywood opened its gates in 1986, there were no pictures of him on display. His preference for privacy was so strong that, on the rare occasion he agreed to be photographed, he insisted on covering his face with a bag. If reporters camped outside the home he shared with Dolly, hoping to catch him for an interview, he would sometimes claim to be nothing more than the gardener, successfully diverting attention away from himself. His absence from public events fueled speculation about his relationship with Dolly. Over time, some fans began to wonder if their marriage was merely a front. One particular rumor suggested that Dolly's real romantic partner was her lifelong friend Judy Ogle. Ogle had been a constant presence in her life, especially during a difficult period in the 1980s when Dolly was struggling with health issues. Not wanting to burden Carl with the full extent of her illness, she relied heavily on Ogle's support. However, Dolly dismissed the idea that their bond was anything more than friendship. The notion of a secret romance amused her, as she saw no reason to hide the truth. If there had been something more between them, she would have openly acknowledged it. The gossip surrounding Dolly's love life extended beyond Ogle. When she starred alongside Burt Reynolds in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in 1982, tabloids claimed the two were having an affair. Still, Carl remained unshaken by the rumors. He had an untouchable sense of security and never let jealousy cloud their relationship. Dolly admired this about him, noting that his confidence allowed them to weather any outside speculation without issue. Despite the public's curiosity about their marriage, Dolly admitted that she had once gone through a painful emotional experience that she described as an affair of the heart. This happened during the 1980s and deeply affected her, but it did not threaten her bond with Carl. Their connection was built on a solid foundation. Neither feared losing the other because they had discovered something rare in each other, something they knew they would never find elsewhere. Their differences only strengthened their relationship. Dolly found joy in the unpredictability of her husband's personality. She never knew what he would say or do next, and that element of surprise kept things interesting. They accepted each other fully, without trying to change one another. Carl disliked flying, so Dolly never pressured him to travel with her. The only exception was a single trip to Hawaii. Instead of viewing their frequent separations as a challenge, Dolly believed they contributed to the success of their marriage. Although Carl preferred to stay out of the spotlight, he occasionally joined Dolly during her tours. On one rare occasion, he even stood on stage with her backup singers. These moments were exceptions rather than the rule, but they highlighted that despite their different lifestyles, he still found ways to support her. No matter how far Dolly traveled, she always looked forward to returning home to him. Their reunions were filled with stories, laughter, and a deep appreciation for one another's experiences. The couple had affectionate nicknames for each other, calling one another Daddy and Mama. They never had children of their own, but found fulfillment in their roles as aunt and uncle to many nieces and nephews. They also embraced the responsibility of being godparents. with Miley Cyrus among those they guided. They never regretted their decision not to have children, believing their life together was complete just as it was. In 2016, after 50 years of marriage, they chose to renew their vows. The ceremony was simple, reflecting the nature of their relationship. For their second honeymoon, they returned to the same town where they had originally exchanged vows, Ringgold, Georgia, and Camper by the lake. That same year, Carl expressed his feelings about their life together, stating that he wouldn't trade those years for anything. For Dolly, he had been both the love of her life and the source of joy that had filled it. Sadly, Carl passed away on March 3rd, 2025, in Nashville at 82. Dolly posted a heartfelt message on Instagram, calling it a love note to family, friends, and fans. She expressed gratitude for the messages, cards, and flowers honoring her beloved husband. Though unable to respond individually, she deeply appreciated the support. She found comfort knowing he was in God's arms, adding that she would always love him. Let's go back in time and find out about Dolly Parton's life before she met Carl. Born into music, Dolly Rebecca Parton entered the world on January 19, 1946, in a modest one-room cabin near the Little Pigeon River in Pittman Center, Tennessee. She was the fourth child in a large family of 12, born to Avie Lee Caroline Owens and Robert Lee Parton Sr. Her middle name came from her maternal great-great-grandmother, Rebecca Dunn Whitted. Life in the mountains of East Tennessee shaped her upbringing, surrounded by the challenges of rural living and the strength of a close-knit family. Her father, known as Lee, worked tirelessly to support his family. Initially a sharecropper, he later acquired a small tobacco farm and additional land, which he managed while also taking on construction jobs to make ends meet. Although he never learned to read or write, his ability to navigate business and maximize profits made a lasting impression on his daughter. She often spoke of his intelligence and resourcefulness, recognizing the ways he turned financial hardships into opportunities. Avie Lee, Dolly's mother, played a central role in raising their large family. Giving birth to 12 children in just 2 decades, she became a mother of 12 by the age of 35. Though she often struggled with health issues, she remained a devoted caregiver, managing household responsibilities while filling their home with music and stories. Music and storytelling were woven into the fabric of daily life, creating an environment where creativity flourished. During Dolly's childhood, her family relocated from Pittman Center to a farm on Locust Ridge. That home held some of her most treasured memories, and years later, it served as inspiration for her song, My Tennessee Mountain Home. Though the family eventually moved away, she never forgot the place that shaped her earliest years. In the late 1980s, she reacquired the property, restoring and preserving it with the help of her brother Bobby. A replica of their childhood cabin now stands at Dollywood as a tribute to the home where her journey began. Dolly had often described her upbringing as filled with love but marked by financial hardship. Her birth was attended by missionary Dr. Robert F. Thomas, whom her father paid with a sack of cornmeal. That moment later inspired her to write a song about the doctor who had played a role in bringing her into the world. Many of her early songs, including Coat of Many Colors and In the Good Old Days When Times Were Bad, reflected the struggles and resilience of her family. For several years, the Parton family lived in a small, one-bedroom cabin on their subsistence farm in Locust Ridge, a remote area north of the Greenbrier Valley in the Great Smoky Mountains. Although they had limited financial resources, they never went hungry. Food was plentiful, thanks to the land they worked and the strong sense of resourcefulness within the household. Dolly and her sister Rachel later captured those family meals and traditions in their 2024 cookbook, Good Looking Cooking. Music was an integral part of Dolly's early life. Raised in the Church of God, where her grandfather Jake Robert Owens was a pastor, she was surrounded by hymns and gospel singing. Her first public performances took place in church, where she sang in front of the congregation at just 6 years old. Her passion for music only grew from there. By 7, she was playing a homemade guitar, and at 8, she received her first real guitar as a gift from her uncle. That instrument opened up a new world for her, allowing her to explore songwriting and develop her unique musical voice. As a child, she began performing on local radio and television programs in East Tennessee. By the age of 10, she had become a regular on the Cass Walker Show. Her talent was evident, and opportunities continued to arise. At 13, she recorded her first single, Puppy Love, with Gold Band Records, a small Louisiana label. That same year, she stepped onto one of country music's most legendary stages, the Grand Ole Opry. There, she met Johnny Cash, who encouraged her to stay true to her artistic vision and instincts. Her ambition was unstoppable. After graduating from Sevier County High School in 1964, she wasted no time in chasing her dreams. The day after graduation, she packed her belongings and left for Nashville, ready to carve out her place in the music industry. The path ahead would be filled with challenges and triumphs. But her roots in the Smoky Mountains, the lessons learned from her parents, and the music instilled in her from childhood provided the foundation she needed for the extraordinary career and legacy she would go on to build. From the foothills of Tennessee to the grandest stages in the world, Dolly Parton transformed her humble beginnings into a legendary career that redefined country music and beyond. Legacy and accomplishments. Dolly Parton's impact as a songwriter is undeniable. From a young age, she displayed an extraordinary gift for crafting songs that captured deep emotions and storytelling. Her early compositions were deeply influenced by her Appalachian roots, blending country and folk music with themes drawn from her upbringing in a close-knit, faith-centered family. Over the years, she built a vast catalog of songs, with several becoming cultural landmarks. Tracks like Coat of Many Colors, Jolene, and I Will Always Love You remain timeless, resonating with audiences across generations. Recognized for her immense contributions to music, Dolly received the BMI Icon Award in 2003, adding to a long list of honors that include 9 more than 35 BMI Pop and Country Awards. In 2001, she was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. By 2009, she estimated she had written at least 3,000 songs, a remarkable achievement that stemmed from her lifelong habit of writing every day. Her songwriting extended beyond the music charts, making its mark in film. She contributed the title song for 9 to 5, a film in which she also starred, and later recorded the second version of I Will Always Love You for the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in 1982. This reimagined version became another country chart topper and even secured a spot on the pop charts. The song's influence continued to grow as numerous artists covered it, including Linda Ronstadt, Kenny Rogers, and LeAnn Rimes. However, it was Whitney Houston's rendition for the Bodyguard soundtrack that skyrocketed its success, selling over 12 million copies worldwide and becoming the best-selling single written and performed by a female artist. Beyond the English-speaking world, the song reached new audiences when it was translated into Italian and performed by Welsh opera singer Katherine Jenkins. Her achievements in songwriting earned her 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Original Song. The first was for 9 to 5, and the second for Traveling Through, which was featured in the 2005 film Transamerica. Traveling Through also won Best Original Song at the Phoenix Film Critics Society Awards and received nominations at both the Golden Globe Awards and the Critics' Choice Awards. Another of her songs, Love is Like a Butterfly, gained widespread recognition when a cover by Claire Torrey was chosen as the theme for the British television show Butterflies. Dolly didn't limit her success to music and film. She channeled her earnings into ambitious business ventures, particularly in her home state of Tennessee. She co-founded the Dollywood Company, which operates Dollywood, a popular theme park in Pigeon Forge. Originally known as Silver Dollar City, the park transformed under Dolly's leadership into a thriving attraction that draws approximately 3 million visitors annually. Her business empire expanded to include the dinner theater Dolly Parton Stampede, the water park Dollywood Splash Country, and the Dreammore Resort and Spa. Her dinner theater franchise extended beyond Tennessee, with locations in Branson, Missouri, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. A former Orlando, Florida location operated until 2008 before the property was sold to developers. In 2011, she oversaw the transformation of the Myrtle Beach venue into Pirates Voyage Fun, Feast, and Adventure. That same year, South Carolina officially recognized her contributions by declaring June 3rd as Dolly Parton Day. On her 66th birthday, she and Gaylord Opryland announced plans for a $50 million water and snow park in Nashville, designed to be a year-round family destination. However, later that year, she withdrew her involvement due to changes within Gaylord Entertainment following its merger with Marriott International. In 2015, the Dollywood Company acquired the Lumberjack Feud Dinner Show, originally opened in 2011 by Rob Scheer. After a season-long renovation, Dollywood relaunched the show in 2016 with an updated experience. Beyond music and entertainment, Dolly also made her mark in film and television production. She co-owned Sandola Productions alongside her former manager, Sandy Gallin. The company produced various films and television shows over the years. After Gallin retired, Dolly briefly ran Dolly Parton's Southern Light Productions, before announcing a new production company in 2015, Dixie Pixie Productions, which partnered with NBC Television and Magnolia Hill Productions to develop television movies. In 2024, Dolly unveiled plans for a Broadway musical based on her life and career. Initially titled Hello, I'm Dolly, the production aimed to debut in 2026 under the direction of Bartlett Sher. The musical would incorporate both original compositions and her most iconic songs. She revealed that this project had been in development for a decade, reflecting her dedication to ensuring it authentically captured her journey. Later that year, on December 6th, the title was changed to Dolly, an Original Musical. On the same day, she launched a nationwide search for the actress who would portray her at various stages of her life, using the hashtag #SearchForDolly to encourage aspiring performers to audition through social media. Dolly Parton's ability to craft unforgettable songs, expand into successful business ventures, and remain a beloved public figure is a testament to her relentless work ethic and boundless creativity. Even after decades in the spotlight, she continues to evolve, finding new ways to connect with audiences while honoring her roots. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.